Hello guys, it is httyd here, and last week we heard huge news that How to Train Your Dragon was getting a live action version, which means we finally get to see a real life Night Fury. I cannot wait. But as soon as I heard this, I instantly thought DreamWorks could do something very different here, which Disney has very much avoided with all of their remakes. They could properly go dark and turn the live action How to Train Your Dragon into an R-rated film with full-on action and proper violence, and today I'm going to discuss why this might be the best route for the company to go. Let's get into it, but before we go any further, please make sure that you click the red subscribe button down below and have your notifications turned on so that you get notified every time we make any brand new How to Train Your Dragon videos. DreamWorks has seen the success Disney has had with their live action remakes, and they want a bit of that slice. Now obviously some of the films have been loved and some of the films have definitely not been loved, but regardless, they have all made a lot of money. But Disney has never remade any of their CGI animated films, kind of like Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph, which would make DreamWorks the first major studio to do so, and How to Train Your Dragon is obviously the perfect choice for this. Out of all of the DreamWorks biggest franchises, How to Train Your Dragon is definitely the safest to test the waters with live action and see whether it could be a success or not. Madagascar and Kung Fu Panda don't really involve humans that much, so are a lot harder to recreate and not worth it for the first time doing it. And I think they really need to test how live action animation works before they go at recreating a very creepy live action Shrek. The fact is, How to Train Your Dragon has so much potential because you can easily vision the films as live action anyway, and the only reason why they were probably animated in the first place is because of the dragons. And it's the dragons where things get interesting, because if you think of live action dragons, the first thing that pops into your head is of course Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon, which really uses dragons to their full extent and power and shows just how big of a destruction dragons in reality cause, especially in live action. From when Daenerys first becomes the mother of dragons, to when the dragons grow up and she uses them in battle for the first time, and I know lots of people can't stand season 8, but the episode where she uses the dragon to quite literally burn down King's Landing is so powerful and just shows how amazing dragons can be utilised in live action. And of course we have all of these effects but improved in House of the Dragon, with the dragon chases between the Targaryen cousins, and of course
Dracarys. Dracarys.
But all of these effects were only made believable and effective enough because of the harsher age rating, being an 18 rated TV show. And we're seeing this mentality is happening in a lot of the other media which involves dragons. The Lord of the Rings franchise, which also has dragons in like Smaug, was originally a 12 or PG-13 depending on where you are in the world, but has now in the Rings of Power on Prime turned to an R-rated or 15. The fact is, How to Train Your Dragon was very much limited by the fact it was a PG, and therefore lots of the dragon scenes weren't that violent, when realistically they would be a lot more violent. However, because of the nature of animation, this didn't make much of a difference, since the animation style is predominantly aimed for kids and isn't built for huge action and violent scenes. However, in live action, this very much changes, because it is portrayed in reality. It means that things that aren't realistic will look very odd, and that includes dragons fighting, and if they're not fighting at the full potential people know dragons would fight at, it would just look really strange. If they say that the Night Fury is the most powerful dragon ever and is the greatest killer ever, then not really showing us this will make the live action CGI dragon just not seem very realistic.
Never engage this dragon. Your only chance, hide and pray it does not find you.
And we've seen from Game of Thrones and shows like Vikings that Vikings with live action dragons work really well when they are R-rated and allowed to show the realistic violence. And let's also not forget the audience here. How to Train Your Dragon came out in 2010, aimed for people around the age of 7 to 14 years old. Those kids, myself included, are now adults, and by the time it is expected to come out in 2025, it will have been 15 years since the original came out, with kids growing into more mature things like Game of Thrones and just being general adults. Just imagine scenes like the finale from the first film, or the great battle between the alphas in the second film, but in live action with pure violence with no limitations on how far they can go, as they did try and make it come across like that in the original films, and it was amazing, but the animation style didn't let it go any further. Like I say, the animation style really limited it, but this limitation, if they tried imitating that in live action, will look very odd, which is why they need to go full on realistic. Plus, DreamWorks wants to differentiate itself from Disney, and I think this is definitely one of the ways they could do this. One of the problems with the Disney remakes is they are very safe, and How to Train Your Dragon is a franchise that can choose to be a little bit risky, and I honestly think if they did play it safe and just went for a PG rating like the original, it might not be as effective as it could be in live action, and I think the potential here is massive if they actually do it right and take the risks and potentially go for an R-rated film. But anyway guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure that you smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, let me know down below in the comments what do you think about this. Do you reckon that How to Train Your Dragon live action could potentially be R-rated, could potentially be an 18-rated film, and do you reckon that if they actually utilize the huge action and violence that comes with Vikings and dragons, that the live action film could be amazing and could be the best live action remake that we have gotten so far out of all of the companies trying to remake their old animated classics? And guys, are you excited for How to Train Your Dragon live action? I am so excited. When I heard the news, I was just like flabbergasted. I absolutely love the idea and I've always wanted this to be the case. And do you reckon that this could potentially start off a full-on new trilogy where they remake all of the original trilogy from the animated films but all in live action? Or do you reckon that they could even extend the story further in live action and create loads of spin-offs? Just the idea of it is making me so excited. But guys, just let me know all your thoughts down there, and as always, we've been here on Creative Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.